All right, so it's time to fight the Fed. The number one thing you need to appreciate in this market is that there's always something popping. There's some stock, some component in the overall market that will do well. So our goal is always to find it. Hey, my name is JR. I am the head of editor and head of research at the Market Surveillance Alliance, where we actually focus on tracking. Yeah, that's what we do. We track the steps of those high rollers from Wall Street because someone knows. Now we're not in the age of Warren Buffett. Forget all that. Thanks to the internet, right? We have access to data, and we developed in-house or proprietary technology that allows us to pinpoint what's happening. So I'm going to share with you a couple things that I think it's important going to the opening of the day. Today is, August 30, 2022. And the first thing is that there's some activity, and I shared this with our community. Basically, we cannot sense based on the data, and it's not only sensing, but we have these expectations that the Federal Reserve, they don't really know what they're doing. But if they don't know what to do, or they just do too much, it's always the same mistake. It's going to take place. But when it comes to monetary policy, China, on the other hand, they have a little bit more room to ease and shower their economy with free money, because the main core of every single country is the real estate. Now, the difference between the real estate in the U.S. is that the U.S. already experienced the bubble burst. Now we're in a new phase. Now everyone calls for a second bubble. There's no bubble. There's just a mathematical equation. You have 330 million people in the U.S. That's more people than Mexico, Canada, and the United Kingdom altogether. And you're building probably less than 2 million houses per year. Simple math. Demand, supply. So forget about bubbles. Prices may come down a little bit, and there's this kind of false wealth effect. People think they have money, but if you actually sell your home, I want to know where you're going to live. Now, things have slowed down over the last 12 months, but still, where are you going to live? There are no new houses unless you build your own houses. That's a different story. And this actually, it's the consequences of over a period of 12 years getting out of the great financial crisis that was based on the core issue of subprime mortgages. Now, for you to understand this and just explain the whole thing is, China cannot face one of those. It's too big to fail, right? And although, both economies, they are the ones leading the plane of the world economy, we need the Chinese to do well. I have explained this so many times. Our community, in our portfolio, we have positions there last week, back to back. In 48 hours and 24 hours, we hit 2 positions on names that made us money, 100% plus on those ideas. But now, let me show you where you want to pay attention. This is not only for members, we're also in our YouTube channel. KWEB, this is the ETF that you have to track. Sort of like the same way you want to track biotech, you have the XBI, and that leads you to understand where you have strength. That's where you want to pay attention. So listen. Always look for the component. Yeah, things are difficult. It's not easy for everyone, but it's not as bad as everyone thinks out there. These components are doing well. XBI, and today we're going to go over KWEB. So, as I said, we already made money, but there's still more money to be made of these push higher in Chinese stocks. And I'm going to go with PDD. PDD did really well yesterday, went all the way 20%. And if you look at the pre-market, just using Yahoo Finance, plus 2%. What that tells me is that yesterday it closed at 14%, profit taken, and now what's happening? Hey, let's keep the good times rolling, my friend. So the reason why this is happening, and you have to understand the structure, and this is exactly our research at Market Surveillance Alliance. Sometime on August 22, on that particular pullback, what happened is that $30 million rotate into the stock. How do we know this? How do I know? Because someone always do. That's it. Someone always do. With our proprietary technology, we pinpoint these huge packs of capital rotating. This is basic capital rotation. And the reason why it happens, you have to think like, once things are good, or there is, think about billions, the Showtime, right? The Showtime TV show. When you're not uncertain that something will happen, you go big. That's how you stay in the game. How you got that information, I don't care. but our systems or algos will pinpoint that and tell me, okay, this is happening at this level. Now, a lot of people, when we're talking about alternative trading system, ATS, like Sigma for Goldman Sachs and many others that are out there, it's a big business. For mutual funds, for hedge funds, especially for hedge funds, managers don't want you to know what I'm doing, so they protect their copyrights. So whatever happens here, based on the structure, we have pullback and actually a pretty basic technical analysis 101. You know what it is? This is basically a higher low. This low here is higher than this one, and this particular one is higher from the previous. So this is I put it in red because if it breaks down, you still have the thing that you want to go short. You want to buy a put. But what you see here, guys, everyone, gals, okay, this is a bullish formation. And the fact that we know this happening here opens the door. Now, we decided to play this because you always have the opportunity to express your idea, to execute your thesis. You go from a thesis, market conditions, to the execution. We express that in a different name. It's lagging, everyone knows, but we have our trading idea, but we squeeze that in the short term as well, so we're good. Now, as you can see, very important moment of the what we call the decision-making moment. There's a little bit of a gap here that will be filled. So if that's going to be filled, I like my videos to bring executable ideas. Now, you may complain, but remember that all time, past performance does not indicate future performance, and you are an adult, okay? If you're not an adult, you should not be watching this video, and absolutely do not invest capital that you cannot afford to lose. This is not because I think you're a loser. It's because I think this is just the way it works. If you really need that to work, it won't work. So you need to be open that some losses will take place in the business. Now we go to Quote Media, my favorite tool to share with everyone what's happening in the US option market. So I wouldn't take anything on this weekly. I can bet on that, but I can take next week. And people are calling this Tuesday Reversal Tuesday. We'll see. I think maybe we're surprised. There's so many bears out there that the market can pop all the way back to 4,100, maybe 4,150, 60 level. That's the range. So I'm gonna give myself some time. And I already shared with you my structure on the daily. We have a gap. This will be filled. We have another smaller gap over there, all the way to 89. Do I think like we can go to 89 in 2 weeks? Probably yes, probably no. But I'm just gonna bet on the short-term one, and that's giving us a little bit of confidence without counting for the full projection on a recovery and China easing and throwing money into their economy. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. So I go back 2 weeks, next Friday expiration. Let's go to 16, it's better. 71, that's last trade, $2.40. I'm going to open all the strikes, look for execution. I probably start digging into the 77. 77 sells for 125, that's fine. But also I can always help myself. Take a look. I'm helping myself understanding the volumes that took place yesterday against the open interest. Now, the 78 just caught my eye. And I think if we have these plus these, and we have an increase close to 10,000 contracts in the open interest today, remember to check it out, then absolutely I want to do that because it means those we're adding, and probably those were buys, and that's increases the probability of continuation in the direction of the trend. So that's the 78, 4,424 contracts yesterday. Already had 4,093 contracts in open interest. This is where I'm going to take my risk. Hey, if you're starting, you don't need to go all in. Just take one contract so you understand the basis on what's happening out there. Now, I can tell this is a fairly new contract. To me, it looks like people are willing to take a risk. I like that. The low was 95, so that means we are right there in that age. And apparently, the life of the first pricing for the contract maybe was 270, whatever, it doesn't matter. If this happened, actually, I'm looking to go for 150, 200%. So if I buy at $1, I'm looking to sell at $3. That's a very bullish scenario. Surprises may happen. There's a lot happening out there. The dollar index is trying to break about 109. Remember that figure, because I will come back tomorrow and talk a lot about the US dollar and how you have to pay attention to it. So 109, it's been trying to stay above that, but it's not being able to do that. So it tells me that whatever happened on Friday, it was a blip, not a disaster. So we have to think that it doesn't mean we cannot retest the lows that we have in June, but it can be a retest. Doesn't have to be a breakdown of that previous level. And that's good news for you, good news for me. And that means that we should be paying attention to our cash in hand to open new positions. So I'm bullish China. We need them. The red ribbon, it's important. The red ribbon is a concept from Goku, Dragon Ball Z. When the anime, they never said the communists, but they used the red ribbon to express the red guys are coming. And it was based on a Chinese character, so that's pretty much. It was based on an Asian character, which actually led to everyone to understand that they were referring to the Chinese. So guys, this is what I have for you today in the opening. This video will be available on YouTube. Also, you will have it on our blog research. I'm building up our research. The most important will be available for you to take or not the trade. Remember, is your responsibility at the end of the day. And as usual, if you want to understand what I do, if you want to understand my philosophy when it comes to invest and trade in the US stock market and US options market, then definitely you want to click on the link in the description of this video or in the blog so you watch our webinar. Hey guys, you don't have to watch it all. 5 minutes. If you like it, 10. If you kind of click, 5 more. And then you go and you can understand how people see, how I see outside the US, how we love to trade the US stock market, because honestly, it's the only market to trade. Until then, never forget, it's true. Someone always knows.